Oh man, what a beautiful dwang. Or whatever this is. Ah, Ubisoft. It's not only Ubisoft, but oh man, Ubisoft. Why are they, and by they I mean game companies, so obsessed with destroying themselves? I don't understand. So strange to me. It's so strange to me. But I have to admit that the Ubisoft's case is so special. It's so beautiful. It's absolutely impressive in a really negative way, which is interesting. Yeah, let me look at something here real fast. Alright. Need to bring up my stuff, you know? We're not going to start just with Ubisoft. Let's start with something small first, you know? Well, it's small in theory. Where's my... Hold up. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's not only Ubisoft, okay? It's not only Ubisoft. So let me show you a little bit about Sony too. Let me move my mic a little bit. PlayStation 5 Pro announced for 700 USD. That's a lot of money for a console that has literally 2 games, as far as I know. Do they have anything else that's not Demon's Souls and the recently released Astrobot? I don't think they do. 700 bucks for this? Yeah, no, I'm buying a PC. Yes, my PC was way more expensive than this. It's way better. And Assassin's Shadow looks like it's going to be dead too. We can only hope. Ubisoft deserves it. They do, but let me tell you, this has been a beautiful disaster. So good to see this past couple of weeks. Oh man, it's cathartic. It's cathartic giving. Let's get through this first. After many rumors and leaks, Sony Interactive Entertainment has finally announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, an upgraded mid-release of their current generation hardware. And I think this is really interesting, because we were all expecting Switch 2 before this. It's impressive how Nintendo's winning by just doing pretty much nothing at this point. They still make good games, right? So, I guess that makes sense. The newly announced PlayStation 5 Pro will launch on November 7th. It has a steeper price tag set at 700 USD, 800 euros, and I don't remember the amount again, but it was also really high, to the point where you had people memeing, okay, but you can buy one of these, or you could buy 4 Nintendo Switches? 4 of those. And this is not the worst. This is not the worst part. Has no built-in disk drive. You have to buy it. The separate disk drive released earlier can be used for physical media. Now everything digital, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's so bad. It's so bad. We've seen time and time again, just in this past year, how they keep changing stuff with established games. And if you don't have the physical release, you can do nothing about it. Except, you know, perhaps sail the 7 seas. Pre-orders for the PlayStation 5 Pro kick off on September 26th. And here's the first details and reveal trailer. And do we really care about this? Maybe a little bit. We developed PS5 Pro with deeply engaged players and game creators in mind. It's probably just game creators. This is just a ripoff. As many have asked for a console that runs even higher fidelity graphics, with smoother frame rates at 60 FPS. We achieved this on PS5 Pro with several key performance features. Wow, so interesting. You can do it with a PC. Upgraded GPU with PS5 Pro. We're upgrading to a GPU that has 67% more compute units than the current PS5 console, and 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. This is just a PC in a box, in a Sony box, a PC that you cannot modify by yourself. Why bother? Why bother? They don't have exclusives anymore. Advanced ray tracing. We've added even more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflection and refraction of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and even, at times, triple the speeds of the current PS5 console. It's so funny. They keep telling you, but this machine is so good. What about the games though? Do you have any? I don't think so. AI-driven upscaling. Is it really AI? We're also introducing PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, an AI-driven upscaling that uses a machine learning-based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. That's a lot of words to not say much, honestly. They keep saying AI recently, and most of the time it's either bad or not even AI. So funny, so funny. PS5 Pro provides gamers with amazing graphics at high frame rates. You can hear Mark Cerny, lead architect for PS5 Pro, discuss the key innovations from PS5 Pro in the following video presentation. This presentation provides a deep dive into the key performance features that make PS5 Pro truly special. Oh yes, Sony telling you how good Sony is. So impressive. Yeah, they're just chilling here. Let's see the actual numbers. The PS5 Pro console will be available this holiday. This holiday, of course. At the manufacturer's suggested retail price of 700 USD, 700 pounds, 800 euros, and 120,000 Japanese yen. It will include a 2TB SSD, a DualSense wireless controller, and a copy of Astro's Playroom pre-installed in every PS5 Pro purchase. PS5 Pro is available as a discless console. Discless console. Or like dickless, am I right? It's so obvious. With the option to purchase the currently available disc drive for PS5 separately. I think that's like 80 bucks. The hell? So, as some people keep saying, this is probably just a petty attempt from Sony to just try to cash out at the end of their lifespan. Console gaming is dying at a high rate, and it makes sense. It makes sense. They keep making the consoles way too expensive for their performance, and not only their performance, because even though the Switch is not that good, it has games. This thing doesn't have games. It's so bad. You have a lot of people cheering for Astrobot, and I'm pretty sure the game is good and it's fun, right? But you look at it and I'm like, okay, why is this better than a generic Mario game? I don't know. Seems like a waste of money to me. Oh my god, I'm dying. I need to take a sip already. Let's get into the Ubisoft hole here a little bit, shall we? Star Wars Outlaws creative director tries to spin disastrous launch. Am I hungry now? What's going on? Says millions of people are going to play for years and years, following improvements. Why are they trying to be games like what's the name again? No Man's Sky, right? The release was a disaster, but it became a pretty good game, right? It's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen. Do we trust the French? I don't think I do. In a declaration that comes across as a massive coup by any metric, following the disastrous launch of Star Wars Outlaws, the game's creative director has claimed that supposedly forthcoming improvements will turn the title into one that millions of people will play for years and years. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. As anyone who has either played the game for themselves or watched their favorite streamer take it for a spin can attest, Outlaws is a lazy finished title, and more is slapdash collection of playable game builds. It's actually playable moments strung together with bug after annoying, even game-breaking bug. It's bad. It's bad. I've seen a bunch of videos, and to be fair, some parts of the game look pretty decent. They had some good ideas somewhere, but they had also the rest. That's the main problem. We have a couple of examples here, which is pretty telling. And that last bit is not an exaggeration. In addition to its readily reported graphical and gameplay bugs, it looks horrible, it looks ugly. And I think that's a bug, but I still need to mention it. Including one which causes protagonist Kai Bass's character model to become unaligned from her speeder bike, and another which causes the enemy eye to completely short-circuit for absolutely no reason. PS5 players who began playing during the game's early access period were forced to completely restart their saves after Ubisoft released a day one patch. Imagine paying like 30 more bucks for this treatment. It's so bad. Let me stop the music for a second here, so we can watch a couple of videos. It is the thing. Let me tell you, it's the thing. This is the bike one. The grabbing is going to be a little bit bad, but it's more than enough, you know? It's more than enough.
Oh yes, my man. I ride in style, baby. Look! Oh, she's using the Force! She's using the Force!
Look at that!
Okay, got the Force, baby. That's what
What's
I'm talking
going on?
about. Use the Force, you must, Kay. Okay.
Use the Force, woman!
I'll see you
Look
over
at
there,
this.
Kay. We'll catch up with you, okay? I'll see you at the base. It gets me riding.
It just looks like it's the small marketable creature who is riding the bike. I don't think that's the case, right? I'll lower the volume a little bit more here.
Dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty. If you get the
beautiful.
gold edition like I got, you actually get...
Also, I think this guy mentions it in this one. Look at the trees. Look at the trees. They're so beautiful. Look at how they move.
Special, see the gold edition, like it says there.
Wow.
You get a special, you get to
Quadruple
play
A, by
as
the
this
way.
Guy. This guy I've named Carl.
This is a short video. It's like a minute and a half. But if we come around here, I think, yeah, we can see the trees closer. Last episode I played was Monster Forks for Monsters at Metal. Masters at Metal. I don't know that game. I hope it was fun at least, but it's not getting better. It's so sad to see.
This little guy ain't nothing stopping this little
Look
guy.
at them.
Ubisoft is back. Look.
Let me go a little bit back here.
Nothing stopping this little guy. Ubisoft.
They just look like PNG is moving. That was okay. Like 20 years ago. This is supposed to be quadruple A, beautiful game. What's going on here? And around here, the game starts to collapse on itself, I guess. Collisions breaking and whatnot. It's so silly.
Look at those trees, player. Look at those trees, player.
Look, it's falling.
Oh God, what are
look at
those
them.
things, man?
Oh,
What
it's
are
so
those
beautiful.
things, bro?
It's so
Can I
beautiful.
go through 'em? And I can play.
They're not even real.
Ubisoft is so back, player.
This might have to do,
God, the
to be
crowd-
fair,
Oh God, I'm trapped. I'm completely...
with the character model not being here. Sometimes they use that as a base for what we need to load, right? It was more common, as far as I know, in 2D games way back in the day. 3D, I don't think they do that, but who knows?
In a stone? No, I'm not player. That's the freedom that this game gives you. Is like the stones will come and trap you, but then you can fly out of them. Watch this jump.
You just can fly?
Sick ass, Billy! Boom!
So silly. It's just so silly. And then we have the other one here, right? This is the craziest bug I've seen in a video. Star Wars Outlaws needs a patch. It does. I've seen this video many times. I'm surprised it just has like 4 likes and a single retweet. They're called for posts now. Who cares? Honestly. And this game is broken. This game is broken. Bethesda is in shambles right now. Stealthing, always optional. Look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. A little bit jank. It's okay. Woo! Look at that! It's Michael Jackson, baby! It's Michael Jackson! So much for trying to stealth, I suppose. Oh. So beautiful. So beautiful. What the hell is going on here, man? Look at the guy. He's not even moving.
Get cover, Nix.
Look at the boy. How you doing, man? He doesn't care. He does not give a fuck. So bad. It's so bad. And there are several videos like this. I really like looking at the comparisons between Star Wars Outlaws and old, well, older at least. I don't know if they're quite old, right? But Assassin's Creed from 2010 and 2013, or what was the other game, which to be fair was not Ubisoft, Red Dead Redemption 2. And this game is not looking good. It's not looking good. So sad to see. And it's already released, so I don't know what to tell you. They're just copying right now. But to be fair, they have to cope, right? They made the game. They cannot come to you and say, yes, the game is trash. What are you going to do? You cannot say that. You cannot say that. I think maybe they should be like, okay, maybe the game is not as good as it should be. Maybe the game has some bugs. Okay, we're gonna fix that. I would understand that, but this is just pure cope. To this end, it should come as no surprise that in light of both these issues and audience's overall exhaustion with all things Disney Star Wars fare, Outlaw's initial reception has been rough, to say the least. For proof, look no further than the fact that in their review of the game, even Kotaku could not ignore the fact that it is a technical disaster. Technical disaster. Yes. Yes. With writer John Walker even observing, in 2024, we have reached the most lively, peculiar place where AAA games are feats that humanity would once have recognized as literal wonders, and yet play with the same irritating issues and tedious repetition as we saw in the 90s. This contrast, this dissonance, is absolutely fascinating, and to be fair, I don't think it was that bad in the 90s in comparison. Because you can always say, well, back in the 90s, to be fair, you had a real limited technology, right? Yes, there's no excuse for this. It also looks really ugly. Once again, it looks really ugly. Yet, despite its failings, Outlaw's creative director, Julian Ibaraki, I probably butchered the name, I don't care, thinks that, with timing improvements, the game will become a bona fide game classic. Or like a Bond game classic, am I right? It's not gonna be a classic. It's not gonna be a classic, but it's Bond already. I'm a little disappointed with the Metacritic, where the game currently holds a 76 out of 100 critic score. This is way too high. This is way too high, okay? Even if you like the game, you have to admit it's too broken. It's way too broken for this. And 5.4 out of 10 user score. I think this is more fair. I don't think this game is absolutely terrible. It's a 0 out of 10. It has things, right? It's simple and whatnot. But it has things. Maybe not as many things as it should have, but there's stuff in the game. Recognition from critics is very important to us, and better is. Also, do you buy them? I could say that. That happens. But I don't think players are really connecting with what we did. Ubisoft dev told Games Raiders Josh West during a recent post-launch interview. We had a very ambitious target. We literally reached for the stars, and I think we were successful from so many different angles. There's a magical, unique experience within Outlaws, whether it's Star Wars or not. What do you mean, whether it's Star Wars or not? That doesn't make any sense, right? It's a Star Wars game, so it should be, at the very least, a Star Wars experience. So, were they trying to make a different game, and they were like, okay, this is going to flop, let's put the Star Wars skin over it? I don't think that was the case, but I don't even know anymore. I think Unlost has such long legs that this will be a game that millions of people are going to play for years and years. And we're never going to stop improving it, he then declared, before laughing. Well, okay, that's a lie. We'll probably stop improving it eventually, but to take in mind is not on stopping. Do they think they're Bethesda? Do they think they're going to have like a modding community to make the game actually good? That didn't happen with Starfield. Even the modders were like, okay, this is so ass, this is too ass even for us, we're not gonna bother. Hold up, were they actually trying to make Ubisoft's Starfield? I really hope not. I don't think so, right? These games take some time to make, more than 1 year. I don't think that's the case. Further pressed for his feelings about the game's overall future, Ibaraki added, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm still working on it. Game director Matthias Carlson is still working on it. We're pushing a lot of improvements, he told West. Not just on the base game, but it's things that we're going to deliver later, this year, and next, with the downloadable episodes we're creating. DLC confirmed. That makes sense, but it's going to be way too expensive for the content, I'm pretty sure. They're heavily themed, pushing a certain aspect of the game that we have even further. Yeah, it's just corporate pick, okay? It's just corporate pick, it's gonna happen. They're trying to sell you stuff, that makes sense, but I don't think it's going to work, sadly. There's not much more for us to do there, the creative director ultimately concluded. We got such a great system. There's a great foundation. It's not as easy as it looks, because everything is level designed. And that's a lot of work, but there's so much we can do there. I'm still working on it. Matthias is still working on it. We're pushing a lot of improvements. We just don't want to let it go. They're going to have to kick us out the door, and this is what we, in the business, call foreshadowing, because that could happen. That could happen. So strange. Also, to be fair, we are pushing a lot of improvements. Why not make those improvements before launching the game? And then we'll tell you, but there's not enough time, So I have to wonder, right? I've been around for quite some time, and I do remember, way back in the day, almost 20 years ago already, when they were about to release for the first time Zelda Twilight Princess. And you had Miyamoto saying, okay, but we need more time for this game. And it was the right decision. If you release a bad game, it's going to be bad forever. If you wait for the game to be good, it might be eventually good. That's not a direct quote, it's more verbatim, but it's the same spirit. But nowadays, just because they have like online options and whatnot, and you have updates or whatever, they believe they can just release a broken game. They shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. I mean, you're always going to have bugs. You're going to always have glitches. That's normal. That happens. But after what we've seen, that's way too much. That's way too much. And doing this, players and customers are only going to lose faith on your product. So strange. That's so strange that they would do that. You know, that only works when the core game underneath is worth salvaging, right? Yes. Is it worth salvaging? The gameplay looks simple. That's not necessarily bad, but it is simple. So, the core game underneath might be a little more than a pebble. Total Co-op, your game is a failure. Own it and move on. And you have some shields being like, but the game is not that bad. I played for like 3 hours and it's good. The game is good, it's doing okay. I'm like, okay, but how can you compare 3 hours of a single guy playing with hundreds of hours of video? And yes, maybe it's actually kind of hard to get to game-breaking bugs. You have to do specific stuff. That happens, right? But I've seen way too many. I'm just moving around, there's a word collision, and whoop, you just clip through the map. I've seen that many times. So there's something weird. Did they even test the game? I hope they did, but I'm not quite sure. So now you're in a situation where Ubisoft has to make a good game that sells a lot. So that should be Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Well, I don't know too much about it. Assassin's Creed Shadows, art director response to criticisms regarding game's depiction of Japan. We've paid a lot of attention to stay as respectful as possible to Japanese culture, but creative choices are made on our side. And they just released like a new trailer. It was yesterday, 2 days ago, something like that. I'm not going to show it because I'm pretty sure they're really trigger happy with copyright stuff, so I'm not going to touch it. But you look at it, and it still looks extremely Chinese. I'm like, but this is supposed to be Japan, what do you mean China? That's so strange. You see Yasuke here doing some martial arts practicing, and you probably see one of the worst punches I've ever seen in my life. It's so sad to see. It's so sad. And of course, our director is going to say, oh, the game is good, it looks good, it's done correctly. What are they going to say? No, the game is trash and we know it. They cannot say that. They cannot say that, even if they know. What are they supposed to do? Completely destroy their chances of selling the game, even if they have many? In response to the numerous complaints that have been leveled towards the game's handling of Japanese culture, Assassin's Creed Shadows art director Thierry Danseron, probably butchered the name again. It's in French, please understand, I think this is French at least. Has attempted to assure critics that he and his fellow devs are tending to stay as respectful as possible to Japanese culture, and I don't think they're going to mention it here, but I saw it on the Twitter machine this week. I don't think I have it on tap, I'm sorry. But you have Ubisoft telling to that reenacting group, yeah, we know we're using your symbols, but sucks to suck, baby, it sucks to suck. We cannot stop production of the art book now. Now, like, okay, but isn't that, like, really bad? Isn't that, like, really illegal? That shouldn't be the case. Isn't that in violation of copyright? I think it is, right? That makes sense to me. Oh, we're bigger. We don't care. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Among other stuff we've seen already, but that was big in my opinion. That really struck me. Permits the incorrect application of Chinese architecture in modeling Japanese buildings. Chinese architecture in Japan. Use of a modern-day reenactment group's custom banner for a historical military unit, and without the group's permission, no less. Yes, that's what I was talking about, but they're doubling down. And the painting of the historical Yasuke is a full-blown samurai, rather than just a retainer. Assassin's Creed Shadows has constantly stumbled in attempting to digitally recreate the Land of the Rising Sun, as it appeared during its years under the control of the famous Oda Nobunaga. And you look at the concept art, and it looks pretty decent, right? You have Naoi, she looks nice. You look at the Yasuke, he looks okay, actually. I didn't mind it. But now he's full-blown samurai armor, I don't remember the term. And I keep looking at these horns, and I can only think of Tate Masamune and his moon-shaped helmet. I don't think this is a coinkydink. I don't think so. It might be, who knows. But it doesn't look good on this guy, honestly. And unsurprisingly, the self-insert treatment of Japan's history and culture has led to both the game dev team facing massive criticism over their creative intentions from not just Western players, but also Japanese citizens and politicians. We've read about this before, and yes, even having politicians against this, it tells you it's really bad. It's really bad. I don't think they're happy at all. And it probably has to do less with Yasuke than with just the full picture of the game. Also, are we going to see a Cleopatra moment when Egypt just what was it? been a while, I don't fully remember. But they wrote like a strong letter to the guys that made that Cleopatra show where Cleopatra was black, and Egypt was like, yeah, no, we don't like that, and we're going to sue you. It would be interesting to see. Eventually, the discussion on Shadow's depiction of Japan grew so loud that the game's dev team under the oversight of their parent company, Ubisoft, eventually chose to offer a half apology / half request for trust, specifically for Eastern critics. We've read this before, so I'm not going to go through this again. Taken to the game's official Twitter account on July 23rd, the game's dev team asserted, "First, we want to express our, I suppose, and not out. Guys, you need proofreading here, okay? I keep telling you. Our heartfelt thanks for all your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. And they keep going like, but the game is gonna be good, guys. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be really respectful. Is it? I don't think so. Now, after about a month of radio silence on the topic, the aforementioned Dancer has offered a more personal, on-the-ground take on the situation. First for his thoughts on the criticism of the game's creative liberties by Eurogamer editor-in-chief Tom Phillips during the recent 2024 Gamescom trade show, Dancer bluntly affirmed, "Of course we're making creative choices, it's a video game in the end, so we want to make the best experience as possible for our players." What does that mean? I have no idea, this just sounds like PR speak to me. And it probably is. We've worked with a lot of experts to just understand well the time period. No you didn't! No you didn't. And this is demonstrably false. Because one of the first things we've seen in the first trailers was they were mixing the Samhain seasons. If you actually had experts, they should know. They should know about it. You're not going to plant rice in autumn. You have to rip it in autumn, right? You have to prepare for winter. If you plant it in autumn, we're just supposed to rip it. During winter, that doesn't make any sense. It's going to be really cold. And probably literally freezing in some cases. That doesn't make any sense. So strange. Just to mention a single thing here. We did a lot of our own work, so we're making sure we depict this world in a respectful way, while fulfilling the gameplay needs and making it entertaining. Okay. I would believe this if it was true, but I don't think it's true at all. We've worked with Osaka and Tokyo studios to act as consultants. One of their art directors is involved in doing research in the field. The art director explained. We went there, we did a field trip as well, and we have Japanese experts living in Japan. Japanese experts living in Japan. Okay, sure. I'm willing to believe this. Japanese experts about what? I think that's a fair question. They're not going to answer. We use them a lot to look at their assets, they play the game and provide feedback. Okay, but you also have one of your consultants, apparently one of the most important consultants you have, is a half Japanese woman that works with what was the name of that literature? I don't remember, it's been a while, right? But she writes pretty much about pedophilic relationships with Buddhist monks in was it the 16th, 17th century? I don't think that has to do a lot with Sengoku Jidai. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think that's the focus of Sengoku Jidai. So strange to say. So, yeah, you might have consultants. Are they good? Probably not. Also, once again, you have this guy from Mozambique, allegedly, a black guy from Mozambique, fighting in Japan. Why do you have American hip-hop music? Isn't that actually really racist? I think so. But the French don't give a fuck. The French don't actually care. Which is funny. It's always the French. It's so strange to me. Trying to address the above statement from Ubisoft, Dancer then asserted, there was a letter published by Ubisoft apologizing to that group of people in Japan. But something they need to know is we're working with experts, world-renowned experts, and if we have in any way offended people, we're sorry for this, but this is not the goal, okay? World-renowned experts, that just like that lucky guy that made up everything he knew about the Yasuke. It could be. It could be, we don't know that. But it's not looking good, once again. We paid a lot of attention to stay as respectful as possible to Japanese culture, but creative choices are made on our side, based on all the discussion we had with our own group of experts, he argued. We're confident with how the game will be received. If you're confident that the game is going to flop, then we agree. I don't think that's the case, though. Once again, you're not being respectful to the Japanese culture at all. When you keep using Chinese stuff, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. They don't really get along. And you can say, oh, Asian people, they all look the same to me. They don't like it when you do that, because they're really racist against each other. Chinese, they don't really like the Koreans. They don't really like the Japanese. Japanese, they don't really like the Koreans. They don't really like the Chinese. The Koreans, they don't really like the Chinese. Oh, they fucking hate Japan. So, yes. Yes. That's how it works. Oh man. Oh man. And with one final inquiry into the effect the social media backlash to Shadows has had on its dev team, the director clarified, it's a personal question. It's up to everyone to see. Do you read all the stuff that's coming out? Said Dansero. Are you spending a lot of time on social media, reading all the comments? Are you staying focused? I know some people who get affected. Social media platforms are a free space where people can do what they want. By your workers. By your workers. Even though they could be looking at social media, maybe they should be enslaving themselves here working, right? What a strange thing to say. At least that's impossible reading. At the same time, we're very focused on shipping this title, on this last mile polishing the quality as much as possible. I love that they said polishing the quality, because I do believe this might end up being just a polished third. And happens a lot. Oh my god, bright lights. Oh my god, pretty colors. And I'm like, yeah, it's just a polished third. What can you say? What can you say? It's just shit, dude. It's so bad. Polishing the quality as much as possible. He concluded. We know we have a great game in our hands. We're proud of that. I should stay proud of this game we've made. Are you really proud of the game you're making? It's actually an honest question. Are you actually proud? I don't know about that. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. For better or worse, Assassin's Creed Shadows will draw its sword on November 15th. It's just a month away. For the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Amazon Luna... The hell is Amazon Luna? I have no idea. Mac and PC platforms. It's going to be an absolute disaster. A beautiful, beautiful disaster. We've worked with Osaka and Tokyo Studios, who've acted as consultants. They work with a small group of handpicked woke Japanese and Japanese Americans. We know about the Japanese Americans, at least one. This is absolutely correct. Specifically for the purpose of being able to claim they work with the Japanese, you see. It's basically no different from citing yourself as a source. Look, Ubisoft is telling you that the Ubisoft game is going to be good. Would they be lying? Would they be lying to you? Yes. Yes, they'd be lying to you. I think we'll save the dumpster fire. Probably not. Still defending the dumpster fire. It's not going to help sales. Probably not. It's probably not going to help. Oh man, let me take a sip of my water here. And now you might be thinking, okay, but Ubisoft at some point maybe was good, right? People like Assassin's Creed. The other games, people really like those. So, how about, How about you try to apply as a competent person to work at Ubisoft? Well, that would be a good idea, right? Let's see what's going on at Ubisoft. Yes, the stock plummets after every diversity, equity, and inclusion game flopped. They're checking on the developers. I'm sure they're working hard. Wait, what? Take a look at that. What equality means to me. Renouncing all forms of oppression. What? What equality means to me? And having to do other people's emotional labor. Well, she sounds like a bitch. Also, what do you mean equality? Don't you know this is equity now? Let's see. At least, let's try to apply it to the company, okay? Let's try to apply it to the company. Let me check if this is working properly. It is. Beautiful. Okay. We know stuff. We're young people, somewhat. I mean, we're not probably like 80 yet, right? I'm not 80. Look at my hair, it's still not white. Develop at Ubisoft. Interns and graduates. Well, you have to start from the bottom, right? That makes sense to me. Let's try to apply. At Ubisoft, we want to build the most creative, diverse, and inclusive teams. That's not a red flag at all. And that's exactly what Develop at Ubisoft is all about. Empowering and supporting underrepresented genders. Underrepresented genders. Sounds really French, not gonna lie. It's not a red flag, guys. It's not a red flag, I promise. Yes, it's sarcasm. The program provides mentorship opportunities for the women and the non-binary individuals. Sure. Students or fresh graduates with less than 2 years of experience. That's normal, at least. Interested in video games to develop their skill set in game design and programming. That's probably the only normal part I'm saying here. We want to empower you to learn, grow, and become the very best developer that you can be. Isn't that nice? This mentorship program is accessible to aspiring talents in multiple countries, including Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Italy, Vietnam, and the USA. Some of these make sense, some of these do not. The hell do you mean China? The hell do you mean China? I thought China was based. They're not based at all, okay? Absolutely not. Join us at Develop at Ubisoft and embark on a transformative journey toward a more diverse and inclusive future for the gaming industry. Do you mean bad? I would believe that. Mentorship program, let's see. With more people playing video games than ever before, it is important for us to help build an inclusive entertainment industry that reflects the diversity of our players. What? What do you mean by this? Hold up. It is important for us to help build an inclusive entertainment industry that reflects the diversity of our players. No? It is important for you to make good game and shut the fuck up. Huh? And they will tell you, no, it's fine, this is not commie bullshit, it is literally socialism. But they will look at me and be like, what are you talking about? That's just crazy. It's not. It's not. It's pretty much for the wrong admission. With this mentorship, we have an exciting opportunity to support talents from different backgrounds, bringing fresh perspectives and new ideas. No ideas? Are you sure? Are those no ideas good? I don't think so. The selected candidates will create a project-based. Based? I don't think so. I keep doing that, I don't know why. A predetermined theme and will be mentored by a Ubisoft expert over a fixed period. From November 2024 to March 2025. A specific timelines may vary by location. That's normal. During this time, they will receive feedback to help build their project. There we go. Eligibility criteria, finally. To be eligible, you must identify as a woman or a non-binary individual. That's not illegal at all, right, guys? That's not illegal. That's fully okay. Oh boy, do I have news for you. 18 years old or older. That makes sense. Currently attend or have graduated in or after spring 2023. I guess that makes sense. They mention less than 2 years of professional experience, so I guess that checks out to some extent. Currently attend. The wording is weird, but it's probably okay. Have less than 2 years of professional experience in game design or programming in video games. Understandable. Be legally entitled to work in the country where you're applying. Yes, that would make sense. Apply to only one location. No China maxing here. Submitting an individual entry. Team entries will not be considered. Unlucky, but that makes sense, I guess. Specific to Toronto, as residing in Ontario. Normal, I suppose. Pretty good. Pretty good. Look, they're so diverse! They're so diverse! And now you might be thinking, what do you mean diverse? It's just pretty much only women. Yes, that's what diversity means. No men. And if you have men, they have to be minorities. You don't hate France enough. Well, luckily for us, this apparently is extremely illegal. Oh baby, it's absolutely beautiful. Legal analyst asserts that Ubisoft is breaking the law, breaking the law. With its mentorship program that excludes men. Nah, you think? You think that might be illegal in the West? Nah, ain't no way, dude. Ain't no way. A legal analyst Andrew Squire declared that French video game company Ubisoft is breaking the law over its mentorship program that excludes men. Yes, that makes sense to me. On the official Ubisoft website, the company promotes its develop a Ubisoft program, stating, "We've read it. It's fine, we can skip it." We've seen that. Square reacted to the mentorship program and its promotion on Ubisoft's LinkedIn account during a recent live stream on his Legal Mindset YouTube channel, where he said, "This is illegal." He continued, "A special mentorship program. This is the same thing that Disney is currently being sued for. I don't know too much about this lawsuit, but they already have a precedent, so it's not looking great. Also, I might be making shit up now, because I'm not sure, but I can swear that this is not the first time they do this stuff. And probably this is at least like the 4th year in a row they do this. So, yeah, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. So, yeah, you cannot even say, "Oh, but it was a mistake. It was a mistake, man. We didn't want to be racist or sexist or whatever. But you've been doing that for like 4 years. What do you mean by this? What do you mean, honestly?" Next, he wrote up the post on Ubisoft's website that also states, "With more people playing video games than ever before, it's important for us to help build an inclusive entertainment industry that reflects the diversity for our players." Of our players, not for, my bad. I know how to read it sometimes. And this is absolutely beautiful. I haven't watched this guy a lot, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty nice, right? He seems to know what he talks about. He talks about games. He's been talking about tubers a little bit. You have it here. vtuber excluded. That's the streamer ranking that came out the other day and whatnot. So there's that. But he's going to tell you the things as they are. This is beautiful. Square commented, "Really? Because if it reflects real players, then it should be a bunch of straight men. Just saying that it should be by and large straight men. Not entirely, not wholly, but mostly. And now, there's diversity, because some of them will be Asian. So, there you go, right? But it would be a bunch of fucking dudes if you wanted to match the player base. Yes, yes it is, but it's never about the player base. Right, guys? It's never about the player base. It's always about controlling the communities. It's always about forcing behaviors. It's all about, oh, but my equity and my diversity and my inclusion. No. No, it should be about making a good game that people like. but no, it has to be about fucking politics. All the fucking time, it's so bad, it's so ass, I hate it here. Keep screaming into the void. But that's how my fate has been woven, I suppose. After reading the eligibility requirements, she added, this is not okay. And this is something they're going to get in trouble for. And they should, by the way. They should. That's illegal and that shouldn't happen. We hate affirmative action here. So bad. It's the... not necessarily the root, but one of the roots of this. All of this. All that is wrong with entertainment lately. You keep hiring by quotas, you're going to hire incompetent people. If you hire incompetent people, you need to hire more people, so you waste more money. And the product is gonna be worse. Wow, what a concept! It's as if the merit-based hiring was there for a reason. Oh, no way, dude. No way. Yes way. Yes way. So insane to me. Take a look at something here. Okay, there we go. Swear later added, Ubisoft did something illegal. What I think is that somebody who is actually damaged by that, who is not paid for mentorship or leadership, should bring a case. I think there's law firms like the America First legal team down in Texas, they would be willing to take that. Maybe, I don't know too much about them. If this guy is saying that, I can probably believe that. They've already taken the Disney case, why not take that one? Seems like it'd be a good case for them. Yes, I guess that's fair. What do you make of Square's legal analysis regarding Ubisoft's mentorship program? Discriminating against men has been legal for decades, with women-only quotas. Yes, still illegal. That's why they have to use whistle wording around it. Still illegal. And now you might be thinking, okay, but what's going on here? What's happening? Well, I can tell you what's happening. Ubisoft stock is absolutely collapsing. Yesterday was below 12 euros, I think. Really low, real low. Shareholders, they don't like it. They don't like it. So what do we have now? An open letter. This is from AG Invest. To the board member, to the board of directors, and members of committees, Ubisoft Entertainment SA. Mr. Ives Gilmot, CEO and Chairman, Ubisoft Entertainment, and Tencent Holdings. Oh, it's always China, man. It's always China. Now you understand why they mentioned China before, because the Chinese are in here too. Subjects. Urgent call for strategic and structural changes at Ubisoft Entertainment. And some people are saying that this is just a single guy that don't have enough stock to just vote into the company. But the fact that this letter exists might make the other shareholders, bigger shareholders, move their asses. They don't want losses on their money. No one does. So this might be actually really important after all. Dear members of the board, dear fellow shareholders, as a significant minority shareholder in Ubisoft Entertainment, via AJ Investments and our partners, we're writing to express our deep dissatisfaction with the current performance and strategic direction of the company. The recent quarterly results, which included the postponement of key games like Rainbow Six Siege and The Division into the 2025 lineup, and a lower revenue outlook for the Q2 2024 second quarter, have heightened our concerns about the management's ability to deliver value to shareholders over the long-term run. Share price of Ubisoft have decreased by more than 40% over the last year, compared to the rise of its competitors and indexes. Yes, it's crashing a lot. It's been the lowest it's ever been in like 10 years or something like that. It's not looking good. This letter consists of following points. It's like 8 pages. I don't think we're gonna look at all of them. It's a bunch of stuff here. Make Ubisoft private or allow it to sell it to a strategic investor. Ubisoft valuation. While we believe Ubisoft is great, undervalued company and should be worth between 40 to 45 euros per share, I don't think it has ever been this high, actually. If you told me 30 to 35, I might believe it. I might believe it because I think that was pretty much the peak. It's not near this. It's not even near this. Our concerns about the future of this company with current management and directory. Yes. Our proposals to increase value of Ubisoft for all stakeholders. Stakeholders. I hate that fucking term. It keeps popping up. Allow take private process by PE firms of Kilomet family plus Tencent at fair price. That's interesting. That's interesting. Allow silent process as we are in discussion with investors to fight against Kilomet family. It's so-called proxy fight at extraordinary shareholder meeting. Interesting. I don't know too much about the investment. So we can only see what is here and try to reach a conclusion, right? Change of the current management! Starting hiring process of new CEO will optimize the cost and the studio structure for more agile and competitive company, as Ubisoft should be. Interesting. That makes a lot of sense if the CEO is just making the company go under. Yes, you need a new one! We will use the French minority law to collect enough shareholders to start proxy fight and initiate the sale process of Ubisoft to increase shareholder value for all shareholders. That makes sense. I talk about valuations and whatnot. Once again, 40-45 seems too high, in my opinion. They even bring up here the discourse for games, and I'm like, yeah, you're copying. Star Wars Outlaws has really high score for what it should be. And I'm not quite sure if they're gonna mention it here. Oh, table depicts Ubisoft share price graph that shows this purchases in the timeline. Oh, scheme above shows the Tencent investments in Ubisoft in September 2022. China! Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. So there's a bunch of numbers and information. But I'm not an economic kind of guy, so with just the first page, we can make an assumption here of what's going on, or what they may try to do. The funniest of all is that now you have rumors of, yeah, maybe they're just trying to tag to... What? Tag? What am I trying to say here? To lower the stock value, the share value, so they can buy more for cheaper. And they, being the current CEO, and also perhaps Tencent. So, if, or more like if, but when Ubisoft collapses, and it's probably gonna be, it's gonna be because of the new Assassin's Creed, they might just crash and burn. This might happen, actually, when they just collapse. It's going to be bad for them. It's going to be really bad for them. And I don't think they will be able to recover. Maybe if they change fast the CEO, they might recover by making actual good games. It's going to take years for that. So, it's probably the beautiful end of Ubisoft. Couldn't happen to a better company. But this is not all that's going on with Ubisoft. But in this case, it's not just Ubisoft. I think it's funny that it's also Ubisoft. The European Consumer Organization accuses Ubisoft, EA, Epic Games, Roblox, and more of violating EU consumer protection laws. Funny how that works, man. Funny how that works. The European Consumer Organization, big from now on, accuses a number of major video game developers and publishers including Ubisoft, EA, Epic Games, Roblox, and more, of violating EU consumer protection laws. So sad to see. In a press release, the organization announced it sent an alert to the European Commission and the European Network Consumer Authorities (CPC) network, informing that they believe these various game companies breach EU consumer protection laws. So you guys need proof written to come on now. Furthermore, the organization said it was calling on authorities to ensure that trades play by the rules and provide consumers with safe gaming environments. That's fair. And you know you have to be fucking up a lot for the EU to be actually based in here. What's going on? So strange to me. Yes, this is Minecraft, what the hell? That's wild. Specifically, the organization shared that it found consumers cannot see the real cost of digital items. That's so bad. Leading to overspending, the lack of price transparency of premium in-game currencies, and the need to buy extra currency in bundles pushes consumers to spend more. I hate it. I hate it. It happens a lot. It's being a huge point of contingency for this kind of law, I suppose. But yeah, I remember which game was it? It's been a while, I'm not sure. League of Legends? What's the gacha game? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter because it's pretty much the same, right? So you need, let's say, I'm going to make up some numbers. 1800 points to buy, let's say, Ace King. And you can buy bundles for 500 points, 1000 points, and 2000 points. So you always have something left over. So you keep spending to try to... I mean, you keep buying the spawns, try and spend everything you have. So that is actually really, really bad. And that happens a lot. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, man. It's so predatory. I think Dota does that way better. Not only those games are just parts, you can buy them for pennies on the Steam market. Actual pennies. That's way better. So while in-game purchases should always be displayed in real money, example giving, euros, that makes sense. Earlier they should display the equivalents in real-world currency. Yes. Absolutely. That's something I really dislike about gacha games. It's not the only thing I dislike, but something I dislike. Companies' claims that gamers prefer in-game premium currencies are wrong. Many consumers find this unnecessary step misleading and prefer buying items directly with real money. But if you spend real money directly, you know how much you're spending, so that's bad for us. You won't want to spend as much. Consumers often deny the rights when using premium in-game currencies, tied to unfair terms favoring game developers. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. And I think it's okay if you want to have in-game currencies that you can get in-game. But then it gets a little bit weird when you can get them in-game but also pay for them. It is a fucking mess. It is a fucking mess. They're pretty much NFTs, if you think about it. Pretty much NFTs, and we all know what happened with those, right? Children are even more vulnerable to these manipulative tactics. Data shows that children in Europe are spending on average 39 euros per month on in-game purchases. 39 euros per month. Imagine, I would never be able to spend so much money back in my day. Why would I spend 39 euros per month on in-game purchases when you can buy pretty much a new game without money? A new game each month? Yeah, that was not me. Let me tell you, that was not me. While they are among the ones playing the most, They have limited financial literacy, and they are easily swayed by virtual currencies. Are they going to mention Fortnite and their V-Bucks? I think you have to pay for those, right? I don't know too much about the Fortnites. I'm not young enough for that. The Director General of BIC, Agustin Reina, stated, "The online world brings new challenges for consumer protection, and it shouldn't be a place where companies bend the rules to increase profits. BIC's members have identified numerous cases where gamers are misled into spending money. Many such cases. Also, you open up the game, oh, pop up, look at that bundle, it's so cheap, it's so good. It's not real. It's not real shit. You want to spend? Go on. But it's not real shit." So bad. So bad, man. Regulators must act, making it clear that even though the gaming world is virtual, it still needs to abide by real-world rules. I feel so strange looking at that, because I both agree and disagree with it. I don't really know how to feel. It's so bad, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yes, there should be some rules, but at the same time, this just feels like whistle wording to me to increase censorship and whatnot. I don't know how I feel. Gamers shouldn't need to rely on a calculator anytime they want to make an informed decision on how much they want to spend. Math is so hard. The money they spend should be displayed in real money, and deceptive practices must be stopped, he continued. Today, premium game currencies are purposefully tricking consumers and take a big toll on children. Companies are well aware of children's vulnerability and use tricks to lure younger consumers into spending more, Reina concluded. Yes. Yes, he's not wrong here, to be fair, right? But at the same time, gamers shouldn't need to rely on a calculator. To some extent, it's okay to do, actually. Because you actually know how much you're spending. You know the facts of the numbers, right? And that's just me. I know what he's trying to say here, though. And it makes sense. Yes, you shouldn't be going through 3 different currencies to see how much hard cash you're actually spending. Also, once again, because I do believe that is important and it's related to this. Spending money when you don't see it, it's oh so easy. And you bought stuff virtually through the internet. Oh, it's so easy to spend that money because you don't see it. It's just numbers. You have the coins, you have the bills. You're like, oh, that's actually a lot of money. I don't know if I want to. That's a problem. That's another problem. And they keep pushing you to, oh man, come on now. Cashless society. Couldn't be me. The organization's senior legal officer, Steven Berger, also stated in a video uploaded to Twitter, "You're not the only one getting confused. Indeed, all of the gaming companies whose games you're playing are implementing sneaky tactics to make you spend more and more into the video games. One of them is the use of premium in-game currencies. So there are game currencies, but you have to pay with real money," he said. And because they have it here, EA Sports MC24. This is probably one of the worst examples. Obviously it was EA of all people. Their microtransaction bullshit with, oh look, loot boxes. Don't you want to get the special legendary cards for your favorite sports ball players? Like, I don't know, I don't want to spend hundreds of bucks on that. But why not? It resets with every game, and they release a new game each year. It's really bad. It's really bad. I don't like it. Yeah, like a real shop, you shouldn't... What's going on here? It's so hard to read when it's written like this. That's not proper grammar. I'm struggling so much. You should not have to rely on a calculator every time you want to buy something in a video game. So that's why today, BUC, the European Consumer Organization, and national members are launching a complaint to national authorities and to the European Commission to stop misleading practices in relation to in-game currencies. The authorities will be able to launch a coordinated action against the game companies we are targeting in the alerts. They continued. The idea is to make sure that we can enjoy a safer environment when playing video games and more transparency for in-game purchases. That's okay, I suppose, and it's funny because something like this released, and I think it was Ubisoft, already announced offline modes for a bunch of crew games, so they don't get screwed. So silly. It's so silly. The organization laid out that it wants to be the CPC network. It wants to... It wants to... Then it wants the CPC network too, I guess. It's so bad! It's so bad! To start coordinated enforcement and publish a joint position. It also demands that video game companies stop these unfair commercial practices. I think it's fair. So, how wrong can you be if Europe is more based than you? So just the rest at the bottom. Furthermore, it wants full transparency from traders. Virtual items should always display prices in real currency. If they did, no one would buy them. Well, not no one, but most people wouldn't buy them. I think it's fair. Consumers should have the same rights online as they do in the real world, including the right of withdrawal and legal guarantees. Yes, that is correct. In a more detailed report, the organization made it clear that the European Commission should consider the possibility of banning the use of premium currencies in-game and in-app following the result of the Digital Fairness Fitness Check. Banning the use of premium currencies in-game and in-app. Okay, hold up. They don't know what they're talking about, and that's a problem as per usual, right? If you want to force them to show only the actual money you're spending, sure. But I guess they said premium currencies, but you have Token Battle, for example, right? Dragon Stones are just Dragon Stones. And you technically have paid Dragon Stones, but I'm pretty sure the ones you get just playing normally have the same value. So, are you going to completely eliminate the gacha mechanic there? That's gonna be a massive problem. That happened in Belgium, I'm pretty sure. That was years ago. It's so ass. This demand is not considered. It wants the European Commission to consider a prohibition of in-app and in-game premium currencies in relation to children under 18. That's fair. That's fair. Kids should not be expending money, not on that list. It also suggests that EU consumer law should be amended to introduce an obligation to deactivate in-game payment mechanisms by default, including premium currencies. There should be a choice for consumers to activate in-game purchases opt-in. I mean, I guess, right? At least as a some sort of parental control, I can say that. Another suggestion is that the holder of the means of payment, cards or other, should receive a notification and be required to validate each in-game or in-app transaction. Okay, hold up. I think this is happening already, right? When I buy stuff, I always get a notification that I had to... in a code to validate the purchase. At the same time, do you really want to give more power to payment processors? I don't think you should. I just think the Pixel stuff lately, it's not looking good. Another desires for the European Commission to amend its Annex of the Unfair Contract Terms, UTCD Directive, to declare terms that discard refund claims of in-game and in-app premium currencies in all circumstances are presumably unfair. What do you make of this move from BUC, calling on the European Commission to further regulate video games, and specifically in-game purchases with premium currency? It could be good, but at the same time, I don't think they're gonna make. I don't think they're going to make it like worth it. I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily bad, but at the same time, it's Europe. I can only see an overreach here. It's rough out here. It's so rough out here. Every time they want to make something good, there's always whistleblowing. It happens. It's the government. It's gonna happen. And there you go. I'm gonna try right here about de&i. Sure, I guess that's bad, but it's not the point. Add premium currency in game to obfuscate real prices. Yes, that's bad. Make sure you need to buy a higher amount of free currency, because otherwise you're too short to buy a said item, incentivizing and spending more than you want. Yes, that's kinda what I tried to say before. Have bigger premium currency packages that give bonus free premium currency to incentivize excessive expenditure. Yes, I didn't mention that, but that happens. At items that can only be bought for real money. Anyway, so you screw people who did buy premium currency. I haven't seen that, but I do believe it. That's even ignoring the pro gambling or pay to win BS that happens in some games. And there's no reason for you to be paying Season Pass on a full game price like Star Wars Outlaws. But it's happening. It's happening. It's so bad. And you have the companies. Oh man, but it's all because of the toxic gamers. Oh, it's the toxic gamers, man. They're so evil. No, people are tired of spending ludicrous amounts of money just to play what? This? Or this? It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. Your customers are fed up, and you're trying to gaslight them. Ah, but you're some sort of racism, I'm some sort of homophobia, and some sort of I don't fucking know what, because you don't want to play the slop. And look, not only we don't want to play the slop, we don't like these predatory monetization schemes, and we don't want extremely expensive games that are worse than what we had a decade ago. Why would you pay for a good game that is bad when our game is good and cheaper and you haven't played it? I keep saying it, and it's true, you know? But sometimes they also need to shit on old game that is good. Why? I don't know, current year? Fucking know anymore, dude. And Japan is not fine with this either. Japanese fans are happy with Square Enix's decision to censor female characters in Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. Everyone involved should apologize at Akira Toriyama's grave. And yes, once again, this happened before when Toriyama was still alive, but it's Dragon Quest III. It's huge in Japan, and people love this game. It's not the time to fuck around. We're just going to skim a little bit, probably. Have the OG design. Yes, pretty good. We have the new design here. For some reason, it covers more here. It has longer ass? So strange. It's like shorts here. It's so weird. Let's get to the... I haven't seen this actually, so that's okay. In the current remake, the blonde bombshells is her colors and cuff replaced with an armband, the point tab of her corset being an extra piece of fabric to cover her cleavage, and the once high cut of her bodysuit expanded to cover her thighs. Yes. Further, her alcohol bottle accessory no longer bears its whiskey label, instead of bearing as nothing more than an unlabeled brown jug. As of writing, it is unknown whether it contains any actual alcohol or something more child-friendly. Ah, friendly! Guys, you need proofreaders. Like hot sauce or milkshakes. Well, she had a nice pair of milkshakes before. Notably, well, the first change was ostensibly done to make her legally distinct from the officially copywritten Playboy bunny outfit. I don't think that's the case, but maybe. There are clear acts of what can only be described as puritanical censorship. Once again, it's just the zero score. It's just the zero score, probably. But it keeps happening with Square Enix, so it's funny. And you have people from Japan being pissed off. I've seen many on Twitter, and with reason. Why are you doing this? The female warrior from Dragon Quest, one of the monumental figures in Japan's bikini armor culture. Of all things, it was a remake of Dragon Quest III. How stupid. I want all involved parties to apologize at Akira Toriyama's grave. Even if you have to succumb to political correctness, don't do it in Akira Toriyama's style. Yes, people love Toriyama, dude. It looks horrible. It looks ugly as fuck. Also, I was about to say something, but I know they have it here in this article, so I'm going to wait. Well, that's strange. The Dragon Ball 3 remake. What do you mean Dragon Ball? It's Dragon Quest. I know it's 3M, but come on now. Dragon Ball 3? Where's 2? I guess that was Z, right? Dragon Ball Z. So 3 should be GT? I don't remember this woman in GT. They had an original design for a female warrior, but they deliberately made her wear underwear and regulated the design. That's a fine way of putting it, I suppose. Don't you think that's disrespectful and rude to Akira Toriyama? Yes. No wonder people say that changing the female warrior's costume is an insult to Toriyama-sensei's design. Kinda is. Once again, I know it's not the first time, but Dragon Quest III, just like half a year after his passing, it's not the time for this. It's not the time to fuck around. I'm sure there are restrictions due to the times, but couldn't they make it a little cooler? It's too lame! They could have increased the surface area of the armor. Yes? I don't know if they have it in this article, but there are really good examples of that, and it actually looks okay. And you can say, it's still censorship. At least it doesn't look like this. At least. It's not saying much, but still. Oh man. Regarding the female warrior in Dragon Quest III Remake, I don't really mind that she is less revealing, but couldn't they have done something about her being so lame? Toriyama-sensei is gonna be mad at this. He keeps saying the same stuff. And for some reason here they mention Dragon Quest Rewalk? I think it's just Dragon Quest Walk. Is this an update? I have no idea, it's Japanese only. Female warrior from Dragon Quest III Remake. Actually, it's a design problem with the Type 2 warrior. That's funny. Rather than putting on some weird skin-colored cloth, I think they were able to create a cool, curvaceous design while increasing the skin area with armor, like in Dragon Quest Walk. It's a little bit small here, but you can see she has a side pieces for the what would be the coat. That's nice. Coat? Coil? I'm not quite sure. The waist part. And it looks pretty nice. I think we have better pictures down here. Works 3 Female Warrior has come up with a design that is right for today, but is this not good enough? It looks okay, and you can see she has like black panties below. But this looks way better. Shirt is massive, holy shit. It looks okay. Are they trying to get the quote-unquote casual players from work to play this game? Probably, but at the same time, even though they're, by their own admission, casual players, I think they're going to like censorship. Ugly censorship on top of that. Here we go. It's cute and looks like a penis. It does. It looks like she has a dong here. Was that the purpose? Was that the objective? I don't know. Sure, but it does make it look like there's a big dot on it. Now, more than the underwear thing, what's with the position of the armor? It would be weird if it wasn't already growing. Does this mean Square Enix has opened up the possibility of a futonari? Is this Type 3? The legend! Dragon Quest III HD2 Remake is currently on track to hit shelves on November 14th. Just a month. And I don't think this is going to be a flop, because people love Dragon Quest 3. It's still massive in Japan. But it might not sell as well as it should. And that's gonna be interesting. We can only wait and see. I like this game to be good. I like this game to not be censored. But it's current year, I suppose. It's so sad. Oh, people here don't like Dragon Ball Super. It's fine if you don't like it, I suppose. But look at this, looks really nice actually. What the hell? It makes sense to have this side part here, more than just the tongue. At least in my opinion. Let me take a sip. And it's also funny, right? Because actually, they're running the fans for huge mega corporations, as always. Ah, but the zero ratings, man, it's the zero ratings. If not, they will need to increase the age rating for the game. And like, sure, but we read about that last week, and even if you have 18 plus, you have to censor some stuff. So that doesn't make any sense. Also, if it was not a big deal in the late 80s, why is this a big deal now? Are we weaker now? Some people are, I suppose. So strange. It's so strange to me. And I've seen many redesigns made by fans on Twitter this past couple of weeks of this character. And they look okay. Even if you don't like them, you have to admit, they look way better than this. It's just sad. Oh man. Let's jump a little bit onto more random stuff now. We did the Ubisoft stuff, that was most of what we had for today. We did most we had for games. And let's get a little bit silly here. We have leaks, anime leaks. I don't know if this is trustworthy or not, but I found this on Twitter the other day and it seems interesting to me. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Huge anime news. I know this for My Dress Up Darling Season 2, Furion Season 2, Fire Punch, Genshin Impact, and more from 122. I guess that's a leaker. I have no idea. Can we see everything here? I guess we do. It's okay. I'm going to read. We have some clarifications on the side. We'll get to those. We'll get to those. Let's see. Genshin Impact anime won't be made in the short term. That's surprising. Furion Season 2 is in production. That's beautiful. We love the Furion woman here. Fire Punch is not being animated. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, I don't know everything. As you might understand. Blue Box is planned for 2 cores. TMS places great importance on it. Blue Box and Sakamoto Days are likely in the same phase of development. The production schedule for Bleach anime is quite disastrous. I can't believe that. Sadly, I can't believe that. Apparently the last part is going to be like a collection of movies. I don't know how to feel about it. I hate when they do that. It's fine to make movies, but if movies are just links between the main story and whatnot, not a big fan. Where was I? After the Elusive Samurai finishes, which may have a second season, the next will be Sonopisky Doll, that's the Dress Up Darling. Pretty nice actually. Season 2. Followed by Bocce the Rock, Season 2. Paperworks has a lot of anime to catch up on, apparently. Dragon Ball anime is not yet complete. And when I first saw this I was like, okay, do they mean Daima? Do they mean a possible Super 2? It means Daima. I think it's strange that it's not yet complete when it's about to start broadcasting. So we'll see. I hope we don't get the Dragon Ball Super anime kind of deal at the beginning. I don't think we should. The trailers look absolutely fantastic. At least graphics wise. I hope it's good. What can you say? I like it. I hope it's good. Dun dun dun, it's very well made. Well, I hope so. The anime adaptation of Sekiro lacks resources, and it depends on how many people Kutsuno Kenichi can gather. I didn't know they were making anime, but that makes sense, I guess. Why be obsessed with live action when you can make anime, and the anime is probably gonna be better? I don't know. Well, they completed Shueisha manga. There's a short series that will be adapted into an anime. Interesting. ReZero director is acting foolishly. Let's see how shit it will become. So sad to see. So sad to see. I'm not like a huge fan of ReZero. I think it's okay. It's a really strange premise, so that's why I like it. I really love the strange stuff. I hate to see this happening. Don't get your hopes up too much for Blue Lock Season 2. I like it. The anime of the Seven Deadly Sins is a leading project of Kodansha. Okay. Not sure if Devil Support Timer Season 3 has been cancelled. Not looking good. Mama Half Season 2 is almost finished being produced. Season 2? We don't have even the first season. I hope it's good. It's really gonna be really censored in comparison. There are also over 20 classic animations being remade. That's wild. I do believe it, but that's wild. Once again, I'm just waiting for Inuyasha remake. I hope it's good. But yes, even the remakes are good, like Kenshin. I too get tired of all of this remake bullshit. A lot of anime remakes, a lot of game remakes, a lot of movie remakes. They were good before, and they might not be as good now. But where's the new stuff? Original stuff, please, I beg of you. So rough out here, man. So rough. Story of a girl that was unable to become mage is one of the 3 anime projects. The third project by Ondoka Kobo, leading towards darkness, urban legends. The second project, the story is similar to Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. The story develops well. Interesting. All preparations for the above projects are underway. As long as there is sufficient budget and resources, production should go smoothly. That's okay. That's nice to hear, actually. There will be more Japanese anime adaptations of Korean manhwa. That's interesting. Gaga Bunko is more invested in anime adaptations, while Dengeki Bunko seems less enthusiastic about them. That's gonna happen. It's uncertain when the official announcement for the new Yuru Yuri anime will be made. They said nothing. But sure, if you were expecting anything, I guess don't. Sad, but still. Rurouni Kenshin wants to make long-term plans. I can't believe it. I think the remake looks pretty good. The voice acting is actually way better than I expected. So, yeah, they're gonna try to get the most amount out of that. That makes sense. Korean game, Korean production team, and crew 2. This year, PA Works will have 2 original works. Okay. Tsukyu no Ondo ni Tsuite, Orb, On the Movements of the Earth, crew 2, Korean production team. Maya Lumiere Magical Girls Inc. Just 1 season. A sequel animation may be planned in the future. Bohai. Orarate Mahjong Tohairoku. There might be more than just 1 season. That's the Mahjong Souls 1, right? I haven't seen it, I don't care about the Jung, what can you say? The Blue Walls of Mibu will have a second core. Some animation... animation? Animation! Well, it's animation, right? Some animation studies have production schedules set for 2028 and 2029. That's a long time, actually. It's higher than I expected. The production schedules for Nimuro 2099 and the Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon Emperor are facing issues. Happens sometimes. In 2025, Shinge Animation will release an original anime. Other original anime will follow 2 years later. Okay, interesting. Moonrise should be completed this year. It's been in production for quite a while, but hasn't finished yet. We will have 18 to 20 episodes, divided into 3 parts. Weird amount of episodes, but sure. Yes, related to your format cannot be disclosed. The management is very strict. That makes sense. I mean, look at this, that makes sense. Studio Mother collab with eerie themes. Oh, some people are going to love that one. It was decided during the animation planning stage that there would be 2 seasons for as a reincarnated aristocrat, I only use my appraisal skill to rise in the world. Shangri-La Frontier, Kusuge Hunter, Kamige ni Itamontosu had its score for 2+2. Structure determined during the anime planning stage. The new Blue Exorcist anime has had its score 3, 1+2. Its structure decided during the planning stage, with score 2 scheduled for broadcasting in October. I was waiting for that. I think that was actually known. That's okay. But man, if you've been following Oh No Exorcist, it's been rough, dude. It's been rough. What, like 3 parts in 10 years? It's so rough out here, man. Spy Room is a project that Kadoka was strongly promoted, but did not achieve satisfactory results. Unlucky. The 3D production for MF Ghost is too slow, and China can no longer broadcast it simultaneously. MF Ghost? Is that the spiritual successor to Initial D? I think it is. Also, the name is funny. MF, motherfucking Ghost, I suppose? Overseas projects undergo careful scrutiny, with high costs per unit and limited freedom for Japanese animation studios. That's the big one. That's the big one. Always careful scrutiny. Always high costs per unit. And always limited freedom for Japanese animation studios. But they will tell you, this doesn't happen. What do you mean? This is not a thing. Are you sure about that? I think it's pretty clear. And you can be telling me, but these leaks could be fake. Yes, I guess they could be fake. But this is one I truly believe. Dual Master's web broadcast does not require a lot of resources. I guess that's good, at least. Let's see here. Dethrow a little bit. Source 122 on Billy, a OQ partner. You can get any more reliable than this guy. Thanks Dizzy and Steam Invincible for help with the EN translation. Image on the left is the original text from the broadcast 122 did. On the right, he said he would give a lot of anime updates, so it's text to speech. If you're Chinese, let me know if there's any mistakes. Thanks, that makes sense. And we don't have an actual image here. So I wonder what happened. We have this one here. Cropping is terrible, but still. I don't think we speak Chinese, it's okay. Some corrections and additions. Fire Punch anime not being animated for the time being. Studio Mother currently making a Yuri anime. Tamachi faces issues with its production. When I'm in love, does not occupy too much resources. Studio Kara's new work is coming soon. And finally, also Dragon Ball means Dragon Ball Diamond. I'll probably keep updating this thread. Been proofreading and translating 4 hours from Broken Genius. I haven't seen anything else from this guy, so I guess the rest is probably correct here. So that's cool. I have to admit, I'm actually really glad to see Furion Season 2. It's a really fun anime to watch. Pretty laid back for the most part, but pretty good. Pretty good indeed. Okay, what else do we have here? What else do we have? Oh, jeez, I saw this the other day. I was laughing. Doesn't make any sense to me. Once again, the British are at it again. Let me show you. This can be mirrored, it's fine. Ninja swords are used by criminals to rob victims of their lives. There's only one course of action. Remove knives from the streets. Tougher consequences for criminals. Save lives. A small clip here. Ninja swords will be banned. Is this the major restoration? What's going on? So strange. Imagine the humiliation of being a British police officer. I think that, like, for a couple of months we get something like this from the UK and it feels So silly. It feels so extremely silly. Imagine being British. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. And at the end of the day, it's obvious what's going on. Oh man, so many attacks with knives. But we're not allowed to notice who is perpetrating those knife attacks. Lest you be known as a racism. Criminals are always going to have weapons. So, oh man, the more I grow up, the more I appreciate the American Second Amendment. And I'm not even American, so that's funny. It's funny. But they had a great idea, in my opinion. Also, another small thing I found on the tour machine. I thought it was interesting to say the least. Once again, whistle wording, I don't like it. From Smash JT. To a buddy of mine, a comedian, and just messaged me this was a reply he got when he asked about auditions. It's not just video games being destroyed by the de&i agendas. It's just that gamers are truly the last stand. It's not just video games, but I guess we're the most vocal about it. So, let me blow my nose because I'm getting really stuffy, and we get into this. Much better. Make this bigger. Thursday of the month, and it's cast lottery. Sure, sometime in the next week a Google form will be posted on our social media to express interest in being cast. Our show is designed to platform those other than straight white able men. We say non-swam for short. So in addition to the dates you are available, accommodations you might need, and what you'd like to do at the show, there's also an optional question about which of those demographics you belong to. Optional? Sure. We do a bit of slanted lottery, I don't think that's legal, to prioritize demographics we see less of, also first time performers. We should get about 1.5 times as many entries as we have performer slots, so it's not a guarantee you get a spot by filling out the form, but we try to get as many people on as we can. And this is a huge case of whistle wording, right? And it got me thinking a little bit. Okay, non-swam. Yes, it's clear that here it refers to straight, white, able men. But I was wondering, because this looks like official terminology. So I looked it up, and it's actual official terminology for something completely different. So, it's, once again, double speak. I hate it. I fucking hate it, but it's so ass. And now you might be thinking, okay, what is swam? Well, let me show you. From the University of Mary Washington. What is swam? It's not from swimming, I can tell you as much. SWAM stands for Small Women-Owned and Minority-Owned Businesses. The program was created to enhance business opportunities for SWAM certified businesses. Keep saying businesses, let's see what happens. To become certified, you must qualify and register with the Virginia Department of Small Business and Supply Diversity. For more information, you can click here. That is strange. That is so strange. It's a weird case of whistle wording. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what to tell you. Also, it's not looking good, because why would you be against small women-owned and minority-owned businesses if you are so much for inclusion? Oh, that's so strange. So, once again, whistle wording, it's so ass. And I like this reply, right? Games are just one battlefield. The message has infiltrated every faction of life in the West. Everyone needs their Gamergate moment instead of fighting back. Yes, everything else is unfortunately too casual. Game is just different. We're just a bunch of nerds forced to be ostracized, so keeps happening, I suppose. I'll take it personal here more than anywhere else. Yes, and that is also a really good point. That's illegal. He should sue. This is blatant discrimination and a civil rights violation. They're going to shield themselves. In... it's just optional. It's just optional. It's just a lottery. Even though they're telling you that yes, they have bias towards minorities, because why would they have less straight white able men? And they are telling you directly there's a slanted lottery. Funny admission, okay? It's just a funny admission. And lastly for today, we're going to skim through this a little bit. We have more stuff about video games. Video game developers are leaving the industry and doing something else. Anything else. From line cooks to bike repairers, people who used to be video game developers are forced to try something new. Forced? I think they're actually forced, but if they want to do something else, that's okay. It's been a hellish few years for people employed in the video games industry. As big studios have been laying off workers every chance they get, while smaller studios are just a straight-up closing. We've all read the stories and scanned the numbers of people affected, but what happens to the individual in the wake of their career? A life being abandoned? Well, FAFO as they say, right? A career in video game developers' first instinct upon being laid off or quitting a job that had become too much might naturally be to go and find another job in video games. Yes, that's how previous boom and bust cycles have tended to work in this business. But as the layoffs continue and funding for new studios dries up, in 2024 the math simply doesn't add up. They're just enough. They're just. I'm trying. There just aren't enough jobs for all those looking. I wonder why. Maybe the business is bloated? Maybe. Maybe you have too many people working on something where you shouldn't have as many people. Perhaps. Even those affected with a dilemma. They can either keep trying to find a job in the cruelest game of musical chairs imaginable, or they can walk away and try to do something else with their lives. For some, this means feeling pushed away from the career they'd once given their lives to. But for others, it's a chance at a fresh start that won't condemn them to decades of secrecy, turmoil, and exploitation. Making games is not easy. You need to have a huge passion for it. Maybe that's what we lack nowadays. Actual passion. As part of our Back to School week, we spoke with a number of video game developers who, over the past few years, have been forced out of their jobs and are now trying something new. In doing so, we're not trying to advocate for people leaving video games, nor are we trying to glorify the act of pursuing something else. Each story is an individual story, some of them full of regret, others grateful and new opportunities. Look, do what you want to do, at the end of the day. That should be the point. And sometimes, even if you like games, making games is really different. So, maybe try something else. It's fine. There's a joy in doing something you're really good at, and I miss that feeling. I do agree, but is this true? Could be true, we don't know. But they keep hyping themselves up as, oh, but we are so good. If you're so good, why did you get laid off? So strange. Bruce, not the real name, has had a rough few years. Having left a small indie studio whose funding fell through in 2022, they've been working as a level designer on an online multiplayer game before being laid off in April 2023. Deciding to walk away from games entirely, they're now trying to find the next job, in particular one as boring and stable as possible. Wouldn't be me. It's okay for some people, I suppose. I'm currently doing a state-sponsored web development program for unemployed people, which is about 630 plus hours, and it's basically a condensed full-stack web dev course aimed at developing web apps like storefronts, managing employer databases, etc. I wanted to pair it up with a 2-year program of the same type, but since a very popular course, I can get a spot. That happens a lot, actually. So I'm probably going to do some more certifications and try and get a job in web dev early next year. Certifications. That's that working for ya. So annoying. Seth Davidson, I suppose, had been lead narrative designer on a project, now cancelled at Egnet. His studio closed down a few months ago. He was laid off on Christmas Eve 2023. That's poor timing, I can tell you. After spending a few days feeling super miserable and terrified of the future, he woke up one day and just went, nah, screw this. I've been traveling around the States visiting family and friends for a few weeks before getting laid off. That's funny. Before getting laid off. I wonder if that might be an explanation. And the whole time I was there, everyone kept remarking on how much I knew about plants and how big of a nerd I was being about the different ecosystems, she says. I think that kind of triggered the unconscious thought process of, hey, maybe I'd like to do something with this. That's cool. Having finally snapped after being treated like shit in games, she decided to go back to university and study plant science. Plant science. Funny how they word it. I made with some inspiration from games. Halo's Dr. Hasley is one of my favorite characters in the world, which I know is insane to say because she's absolutely not someone to idolize as a scientist. Could still be a good character, even if they're evil, okay? There's a biologist in the last episode of Season 2 of the terrible Halo show who says something like, Dr. Halsey is the reason I became a biologist, and I've never felt more called out in my life. By a terrible show? I don't know what to tell you. Halsey got pretty awful morals, but I have to admire her work ethic, you know? Davidson says. I can also trace wanted to be botanist specifically back to playing Control when it came out. The person/people who did the plants in that game put an insane amount of love into them, which broke through my plant blindness, a real thing, and made me really start paying attention to plants. Not sure to be here without the adeniums of Control. Just largely thanks to games that I want to be a scientist, for good and bad reasons. That's okay. That's okay. You can find inspiration anywhere. Sometimes, you are not the best choice for making games, and that's fine. Frank, not a real name, had been a senior concept artist in video games. Not a red flag at all. Who, after struggling for months with an AP director who did everything from ask extremely unprofessional questions during team meetings. I would like to know more about this. I'm now quite curious. To uploading the team's NDA real work to AI platforms without the artist's permission was recently laid off. It's always AI, isn't it? It's always AI. It's funny how that works, I guess. Having original plan to spend a career working in games, their experience has encouraged a dramatic workplace shift. The interactive story element of games has always drawn me in, they say, but my heart breaks to see this medium stolen by people who only see dollar signs. The game industry won't get better until we profoundly unionize. Surely that will help, which I'm helpful and doubtful for, but until then I need to take care of my own. This medium stolen by people who only see dollar signs. How about this medium stolen by people who only see a way to just perpetuate their ideology? That is also bad. Maybe it was never good. Maybe it was just never good. The experiences I had at the gaming studio did so much more damage than mentioned here. Two therapists. I don't want to say this is a red flag, but I guess this is American, and American therapists doesn't seem to be that great, sadly. I've not been so shocked and appalled by what I've relayed that I've been stunned speechless. Surely. I mean, maybe that's the case, but they might not be the best therapists. They're now happy to transition to live-action movies. They're currently working on an initial film, with dreams to turn into a franchise. I want to do this for decades now, honestly, they say. My work in games was a career, but it was never my life goal. You know already, what's wrong with you? It sounds silly, but you really do only live once, so I saw the layoff as an opportunity rather than a dire end. That's okay, I guess. And will I be? Anne. Working UX at Blizzard. Woman working at Blizzard. I can only imagine the situation. But after being laid off recently, has decided to leave not just games, but the tech space entirely. The games industry is just such a mess, she says. There's way too much enthusiasm around generative AI, and generally scheme vibes coming from the C-suite at these companies. Not only that, but I suppose that's something that's happening. Creators and developers are just being abused left and right. You're just playing a little bit more what you mean about by abused? I'm curious, you know? I just want to know. The community is amazing, but the management is awful. I'm also disillusioned with tech more generally right now, and I'm just not sure where to go from here. And it's not working as a line cook. My current role was kind of just, I need some money, I know I wanted as physical a job as possible. I've been at the desk for 20 years. It's wreaked havoc on my body and brain. That happens, I do believe that. My brother was working for a family friend at a country club restaurant, and I was like, please, let me do some manual labor. I need to move my body. But I would love to return to games if the industry is regulated a bit more and the labor movement keeps building. Labor movement, once again. She's not holding her breath. Instead, she's hoping to soon open up her own food truck. It's so funny that the woman went back to the kitchen. There's a joke there about being base or whatever. But look, if she's having fun and she's good at it, do it. Do it, it's okay. Food truck? That looks cool. That looks cool to me, man. Devon Wiersma has been part of an indie studio in Canada called Pains at 3am, working on a game for Developer Digital. Developer Digital? I know how to read. When the publisher pulled the plug on funding in early 2023, Devon and around 30 of his co-workers were laid off. While he is now able to work on his own personal games in his spare time, he's spending most of his days as a course director at a local university, while also applying for part-time jobs everywhere from libraries to fast food. I used to work at McDonald's for years before getting into in-game development. That is a huge jump, I'm not gonna lie. And ironically, over the years I've worked in game dev, the prospect of working in a kitchen has become more appealing than being in games, he says. That's funny. Maybe you weren't meant to be making games, and that's fine. My reasoning is that at least positions like this would allow me to actually spend my day getting some amount of exercise. Whereas again, development, I spend all day trapped sitting in chairs, standing in desks. I think it's not a huge solution, but something. I always felt it was just more personally fulfilling to help fit people's baseline. Why did you keep working in games then? While many of the career changes highlighted in this piece might seem swift, and Devon reminds us that moving out of video games into something else isn't as easy as trapping an Uber or going to the beach for a year. A lot of game dev career changes are actually really difficult, because a lot of disciplines are super specialized games. He says, the remark I always hear from programmers in games that if they didn't like working in games, they simply go off and work at a bank, because it's boring work, but it pays way better. It does. It's funny, but it does. How UX designers might just leave games to work on apps, or web dev, or products as a last resort. For disciplines like game or level designers, which is what I'm specialized in, it's a really tough thing to do without significant retraining, because our skills are so specialized to games. While soft skills are helpful, the closest parallels to level design outside of games, like architecture or city planning, require super specific training that would involve diving back into post-secondary education. I just often see the sentiment of, if you don't like games, then work somewhere else, and well, For some people in the industry, that's nearly impossible to do without reshaping your whole career. You can always be a teacher, I suppose. Sometimes I do feel terrified of people I know that become teachers. But that's a different story, you know. Chris Horry, a veteran developer who had spent over a decade in video games, was recently laid off twice in 1 year. Both times at companies with what he describes as unbelievably toxic work cultures. Toxic. I'm not saying this guy is wrong, but that looks like a red flag to me. It's just a term. It's not looking good to me. Through more 3 years of toxicity and struggle, I was completely burnt out, he says. The idea of rolling the dice interviewing to join another possible shit show was paralyzing. I couldn't even step into my home office without a feeling of dread. I still don't go in there. I'm giving it to my wife as an exercise room. What low D does to a motherfucker. There were not a lot of interesting options, encouraging me to fight throughout the negativity and get back on the horse. Also, I am 46 and looking at my future in a notoriously ageist industry. I started calculating how much longer I was even going to be marketable. I wouldn't say ageist industry, but more like aging industry. So him being older would be actually good for him, I feel. Younger generations, sorry to say this, but they're not looking that great. And this time, Chris, a vintage BMW bike enthusiast, inadvertently stumbled upon a new, very different career. Moving to Wisconsin after the second layoff, he sent his 81R65 LS to a place called Boxerworks, one of the few shops in the entire United States that specialized in old BMWs. Shortly after I got laid off the second time, Nathan, Boxerworks owner, called to let me know he had found an engine I had been waiting for. We started talking about my situation and came up with what he was looking to... that he was looking to hand his business off to the right person. It was very important to him that someone would come in and continue his legacy, run the shop as a mom-and-pop operation, and maintain the reputation, quality, and positive work environment he had cultivated over the years. Chris says, the opportunity to take over something so established and well-respected in a hobby I loved seemed too rare to pass up. That's cool. I took the plunge and came down here to see if I was that right person. 4 months in, and things are going well. That's right. Instead of making games, you might be better off doing something else. It's been living over 4 hours away from Boxerworks. Chris is making it work by staying at home for 4 days, then commuting to the store, and staying overnight for 3. As sharp as that is, and it's something he's looking to rectify by opening a second shop closer to home. And as unpredictable as owning a small business can be, when you ask him if he'd ever be willing to go back to games, he's not sure. That makes sense. That's a question I've been asking myself a lot over the last few months, he says. There are lots of feelings mixed up there. I've seen so much of the games industry and being through the grinder enough to know the industry is pretty much as shit as it looks from the outside. But for the same reasons? Or not? But there are amazing people in it, and working with them can be an absolute joy. That makes it hard to think rationally about diving back in. I don't know, maybe. If you're having a hard time, you wouldn't want to go back, I don't think. I was very good at what I did. Were you? Why did you get laid off? That doesn't make any sense. I was a great designer. I was a great design manager. I really do understand player behavior, player needs, and the business of games. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Maybe it's true, but I just don't believe it. After what we've seen this past couple of weeks, that might be just a cope. There's a joy in doing something you're really good at, and I miss that feeling. But I feel an incredible freedom, not having the whims of some tech exec being in control of my livelihood for the first time in a decade. Completely changing careers with little forethought at 46 is terrifying. I have so much to learn before I could even begin to take Nathan's place in the shop. I'm totally over my head in a way that I have not been in nearly 15 years. My income has been decimated. I have 6 employees I am responsible for, A 75-year-old man's legacy in my hands, and happier than I have been in years. That's good! That's good! Just do that. It's okay. Maybe you have way too many people working in games for the wrong reasons. Not saying just ideological. Maybe you'd be better off doing something else. It happens, it's okay. I think this is the final one. Trudy, not their real name, a writer, left their job in games earlier this year. Now, pivoting away from the industry, given not just everything that has happened into the last 12 months, but everything that's been happening in games for a lot longer than that. Harassment and abuse has become an occupational hazard with a high mental and emotional cost, which makes it difficult to do the work with a clear head. Do the work. I'm noticing too much, guys. I'm noticing too much. They say, put this on top of the contracting industry, and the cost-benefit analysis doesn't add up. Is this doublespeak? Feels a lot like doublespeak, what the hell? I didn't realize in my first reading of this one. With a background in education, because obviously, they're now returning to that to remind myself how rewarding it is to help people directly, while pledging to continue making games on the side. A job in the industry doesn't affect my ability to make games for myself. Games is as much an artistic practice as it is a career path, so I protect my peace as much as possible. That's okay. Remember, every time you read about 10 or 100 or 1000 layoffs in the video game industry, they're not called statistics. One of those figures is a person. A life that has been abandoned, with enormous consequences for not just individuals directly involved, but their family and friends. Every single person affected by layoffs and departures has their own story to tell, their own history in the business, and their own motivations for pursuing whatever comes next. As we've seen here, sometimes a move away from the video game industry, till its toxicity, again, uncertainty and exploitative working conditions, can be the best thing for a person. Other times it can be a traumatic experience, a lifetime's worth of expertise and passion crossing an instant. Regardless of the circumstances behind someone leaving video games entirely, I think the one thing that's clear hearing everyone's stories is that the choice, no matter its outcome, they have been theirs to make. Once again, they want me to care about them, but I cannot, in good faith, care about them. You see, constant layoffs in massive studios and whatnot. And that's normal. And that keeps happening. And that will keep happening. You know why? It's really easy to understand. Go back to making good games. Go back to hiring competent people. Maybe that way you wouldn't be losing so much money as a company. Maybe this way you shouldn't be having layoffs every single month, sometimes even every single week, and whatnot. Why am I supposed to feel sad because all these people don't have a job now? Well, if they were actually good at the job, I'm pretty sure they'd be still there. But that's not the case. That is not the case. Anyway, pretty much everything we had for today was actually pretty long, but we did a good job with this. Fuck 'em. Fuck all these huge mega corporations that want to make games. You know what? Fuck 'em. They deserve to crash and burn. And if they're going to go on the direction of doing a bunch of illegal stuff, that's even better! That's even better! It's absolutely beautiful! A beautiful disaster, I love them. Anyway, it's time for me to take my leave. I'll come back on Monday as per usual, with some more Digimon Hacker's Memory. It's gonna be great. I've been doing some grinding on my own, and I think I'm pretty close to finishing my grinding, actually. I just need the special eggs to get Magnamon, and we're pretty much done. That's absolutely beautiful. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I hope you had some fun with this Oh, beautiful, beautiful disaster. Do not become depressed. Do not become black-pilled, as they say. We're gonna make it. We will make it. We are the best. We are the best of all, guys. But yeah, thank you for coming. Hope you had some fun. And I will see you all soon. Until then, you know the rules. Take care.